What's going on, Edis3T, man? We back with another video, a very special video about a very special car. We're talking about a car that paved the way for at least 20 years worth of performance vehicles. We're talking about a car that opened the doors for an entire family, an entire line, an entire lineage, an entire generation of performance vehicles. Today we're talking about none other than the legendary CTS V1 the Godfather. If it wasn't for this car, man, there would be no V2. It wouldn't be a V3. It wouldn't be a CT6 V, a CT5 V. It wouldn't be a Escalade V, a STS V, a XLR V. The V line would not exist if it wasn't for this car right here. Now, Cadillac introduced this car to us for the 2003 and the 2004 year model. Under the hood was a 5.7 liter LS6. Now, the LS6 had 400 horsepower, 400 pound-feet of torque with a 10.5 compression rates. Now, the LS6 is basically a higher output version of the LS1. They are literally the same engine. The LS6 was modified strictly for the C506, but when the CTS V came along, they shoved it into the CTS V. Now, 2006 is when things get interesting. So instead of the 5.7 LS2, General Motors, they stuffed the 6.0 LS2 in the CTS V. And it still came with the 6-speed manual transmission. It still had the Brembo brakes in the front and the rear. It still had that tuned sport suspension. Everything else from the previous years rolled over to the 2006 models. Nothing really changed except the engine. Like I say, the earlier years would get you the LS6 5.7, or 2006 and on up would give you the 6.0 LS2. Now, 0 to 60 time is around 4.6 seconds. Quarter mile time was 13 seconds. This thing also had a top speed of 163 miles an hour. Now, for 2003 and 2004 standards, 163 miles an hour was extremely fast. Like, it wasn't too many production cars that can do 163 miles an hour unless it was a modified sports car. So for a four-door rear-wheel drive V8 sedan, 163 miles an hour was fast. So a lot of people know what the V3 can do. A lot of people know what the V2 can do. A lot of people know what the CT5 Blackwing can do. But a lot of people don't know what the V1 can do. Nobody really talk about the V1 CTS, the Gen 1. I'm going to say this. Now, the Gen 1 came with two different LS engine options. The V1 came with the LS6 and the LS2. And let me tell you, bro, we know what the other V cars can do. But when you start throwing modifications and boost at the LS6 is a different type of animal. And for the ones that don't know, the LS6 is the engine from the C506. The LS6 is a different type of animal when you boost them. The LS2 is a different type of animal. The V1 can run with the V2 and the V3. And you absolutely right, bro. You absolutely right. Bad Boys 2 was the first time the entire world seen the CTS Cadillac. Because on this scene right here, Dan Marino was test driving this car. Will Smith and Martin, when they rolled up on him, they made him get out the car and they took the car from him. They commandeered the vehicle. But Dan Marino was test driving this car on Bad Boys 2. This is the first time the world seen this car. And from there, it was up. So yeah, the V model came not too long after that. So the base model came first, and then the V came shortly after, not too far behind that. So yes, Bad Boys was the first time that the CTS was introduced to the entire world.